on track. But through the mentorship, through your mentorship, we actually realized that there are actually a lot more that we still need to do in order to put us in a very better position to actually progress with our organization very well, and as well as also compete with some of the people who are our competitors. So we have been able, through this mentorship program, we have been able to actually understand our customers very, very well. We actually got to know that we are not yet understood our customers very well. That is why right now we have actually we are trying to redesign the implementation strategies for our organization. During the individual mentorship with the Professor Darrell, I actually also told him that we are now trying to analyze our
Oh. Oh, God.
To have a clear analysis of our organization. Then also we are trying to see, we have also been able to apply the Michael Porter's competitive forces also to enable us to understand the business, both the internal environment surrounding us and the external environment, such that when we understand this, we actually be in the position to know how best we can position ourselves to market our products very well. So this mentorship session has been a very, very interesting one for us and very insightful, that we have been able to get a lot more knowledge about it. Thank you very much.
That's a good presentation of your appreciation. And it would be nice for you to give us some overview as Zali, what Umaroro is all about, so that we can have more background to yours.
Thank you, Professor Frank. Umaroro Development Initiative is actually a legal, knowledgeable, and professionally well-organized community-based agency which is legally registered in Uganda as a social enterprise organization working towards promotion of environmental sustainability through turning agricultural feedstocks such as the rice ash, the ginat ash, and maize comb into charcoal briquettes. So these charcoal briquettes, we are producing it as an alternative source of fuel for cooking, other than the use of firewood and wood charcoal. So our major aim is actually to reduce on the major problem of rampant deforestation.
Okay, that's good. That's good.
Moses, tell Frank and Deborah what you've been doing since, because we had that meeting. So what are you looking at now? You mentioned about the need to understand your customers better, but when we had our last meeting, what was it that we were really starting to focus in on?
Thank you very much, Professor Darrell. In our last meeting, we actually discussed a number of things with the Professor Darrell, and Professor Darrell actually advises us on a number of things which we need to focus on right now as an organization, whereby he actually told us that we need to embark more on storytelling, we need to focus more on the marketing strategies. He also actually advises us that because we explained to Professor Darrell about our business, and he advises us that currently we need to focus more on schools as being our target market amongst our customer segment. So he advises us to actually focus more on supplying our briquettes to the different schools, and we are really taking that very seriously. And currently, as I talk, I am in the process of actually having an in-depth discussion with the schools about the quantities of briquettes that they want us to supply them with. I also want to know the exact number of schools who are really in demanding for our charcoal briquettes to help us in the planning processes. So we have actually been able to actually do a number of things up to this point.
So you are targeting schools for your products, is that right?
Yes, Professor Frank, we are targeting schools. Those schools are not the only target customers. We also have hotels, we also have restaurants, we also have poultry farmers, we also have owners of small businesses, like those ones dealing in chapati business. But according to how we explained to Professor Darrell and according to how he analyzes it, we actually realized that dealing with schools would be much easier, because at least the schools would demand for large quantity of briquettes, and that would really make our marketing to be much easier.
That's interesting. How are you choosing the customer base? How did you get those schools as your preliminary client customers to sell to?
So we first of all actually took our products to them for a sample, and they have been able to sample our product, and they have validated that the charcoal briquettes actually works very well for them. So this is not like we're trying to impose to them our charcoal briquettes, but they have actually tested it and they have proven that it works for well. That is why now we are already in the process of seeing how best we can enter into agreements to start now supplying them with our charcoal briquettes daily. But the challenge we have here is that if we commit ourselves that we are going to be supplying those schools with our charcoal briquettes, that means that we need to ensure that there is continuity in our production, and not only continuity, the production has to be in large scale to meet the demand of those schools. If we commit ourselves and fail to actually meet what they want, that would be another thing. So as right now, what we are also looking at is how best can we really scale up our production, because sincerely the demand for the charcoal briquettes right now in the market is up to approximately 500 kgs a day. But for us here, we are only producing only 50 kg per day, which cannot really meet the demand in the market. So we are trying to see how best we can really go about with scaling up our production. And scaling up our production would means that we need to procure modern briquettes machines, like the motorized hammer, the motorized mixers, the screw extruders, the carbonizers, the molders, in order to at least enable us maybe produce up to, actually when we have these machines, we anticipate that our production capacity a day will actually go up to 300 kg a day. And that would also increase on our revenue so much. So we're just looking on how best we can really procure this modern briquettes machine. But also that would mean that we need to also sort out on the issue of transport, because we are also incurring a lot of costs actually on hiring the vehicles to transport for us these briquettes to our customers. So if we have our own vehicle, maybe like a small truck that we can just fuel and transport the briquettes, it would really reduce on the cost that we are incurring currently in our production and marketing processes.
So from the beginning, did you manage to map out some off-takers by way of getting confirmed orders from some of these potential clients before you started? And if so, how did you go about your pricing of the products in terms of kgs?
Thank you very much, Professor Frank. We have been able to actually supply our customers, and the packaging is actually done in terms of kilogram, whereby we have some small container where we package the one for 1 kilogram, we package the one for 5 kilograms, 10 kilograms, and also other people also in other circumstances, like whereby they are demanding in large quantity, we just actually pack them in the sack, and we use the kg for measuring. Maybe a full sack is how many kilograms, we just measure it and actually supply it to them. So we have been able actually to get in touch with these schools who are actually demanding for our charcoal briquettes. But the process of signing agreements and negotiation is actually still ongoing, because we before actually the mentorship program, that the mentorship session that we had with Professor Darrell, our major target was not so much into schools. We were majorly targeting individual homes, the poultry farmers, then the hotels. But according to what Professor Darrell told us, we now decided to start prioritizing schools, and we are still just in the process of actually, we have just started having these negotiations and discussions with them. But only that the discussion would be more nice if we already have these products, which are very many in the market. But because also we are producing in very small quantities, sometimes also the schools can be asking us that, but with your current level of production, really, are you sure that you are going to manage supplying us daily? Because if you commit yourself, then that means us as the school, we shall not now be bringing in firewood to cook for our students and pupils. So you need to really be sure that you are going to supply us in time and the quantity that they actually want. So it's also a bit challenging somehow.
What about the situation of competition? Do you have competitors producing the same type of product within the market?
Yes, we actually have competitors, but I can say that the competitors are not many. And one thing is that the current, like in the entire city of Gulu, we only have two organizations who are engaged in production of charcoal briquettes, which is Umaroro Development Initiative and another company called African Clean Energy. But the only difference here is that what makes us stand apart from our competitor is that our competitors, they're actually producing uncarbonized charcoal briquettes, which actually produces a lot of smoke. But for us, we produce carbonized charcoal briquettes, which is actually very effective, very efficient, burns very slowly with very high energy content. And currently, our charcoal briquettes is much more demanded than the one for our competitor. Though also another competitor is according to the information I got, we are also there are also some other people who are willing to come into the business of charcoal briquettes production. But for us right now, I see that we are already well positioned. We have conducted a lot of market research. We are well positioned, and no one is going to outcompete us in the market, according to what I'm seeing. But otherwise, just right now, the competition is not any serious thing, because even with the two organizations producing charcoal briquettes currently in Gulu City, we are not yet meeting the market demand.
So what are your sources of finance to scale up your production to meet the good proportion of the market demand? What are you putting together in terms of raising funds?
Thank you very much, Professor Frank, for that question. It's actually a bit challenging to us because currently we are only raising revenues through sales of our charcoal briquettes, and of course now being a small scale production, we are not able to generate much revenue, and also the little revenue that we generate, a number of things are actually involved in it, because with use of rudimentary tools, you need to employ very many people to do the work, and also their output also becomes very low, and yet you're spending money also to pay them. So we are currently raising revenue sources of our charcoal briquettes, but also other than that, we are trying to actually participate in different accelerator programs within Uganda here, like even the one that I said that Lydia went for at the end of it all, or maybe at the end of it all, she may be given something, because it's a kind of also a competition. At the end of it all, there is going to be a competition. So if she wins, then we shall get something. If we lose, then we shall also not have anything. So it's the issue of raising the funding is a bit also challenging to us, because we don't yet have any serious partner who is helping us. We are just also at the startup phase and trying to look for who are the people who can actually partner with us, who are the people whom we can work together with them to ensure that we actually scale up our production. Thank you.
So far, so good. Thank you very much for answering those key questions, enabling us to understand what you guys have achieved so far. We will take good notes of this for further discussion. Daryl,
okay.
Done on Umaroro.
Deborah, do you have any comments to make? I mean,
no. That was very thorough. What I did want to ask was, I can see other people have joined, and I wondered what questions do the others have, because for me that was quite thorough. So I'm curious, those of you who are listening to Moses' explanation, what questions would you have for him, please? Listeners, so everybody else who's been listening, part of this work that we do with you, Vanessa, James, Lydia, is definitely we're inviting you to share as much as you can. And so I'm asking you the question, Vanessa, James, Lydia, what questions do you have for Moses?
Okay, so okay, after you, Vanessa.
You can go ahead. I actually don't have any questions.
And why don't you have any questions?
He was very detailed, so he said everything.
So my other question, what comments can you make?
For the comments, the part that he was talking about the funding, that was so I'm also suggesting that maybe he could also apply for, or they could also apply for grants. There are a lot of people there are a lot of opportunities for grants out there. So if the problems with funding, you could also apply for grants, like we also want to do. Yes, so that's all I wanted to add concerning the funding, because it's a major problem for almost all of us. Thank you.
So are you, Vanessa, are you directing the question to Moses, or are you just directing it to everyone?
Okay, So it's just a suggestion. I wasn't asking it in the question form. I just wanted to suggest to him that he could also look in
So
the
I
areas
suppose
of,
what I'm saying, Vanessa, is that
yes,
you are
please.
allowed to have a conversation with him.
Yes,
You can say,
please.
hello, Moses, that was really good. Can I suggest?
Oh,
Yes.
yes, please.
Yes. It's,
Yes,
it, it's a give and take session.
Interesting.
You have to share knowledge.
Yes.
yes, please. Yes, I'll do it like that.
Yeah, to interact with him and ask him questions.
Yes.
Yes. So other people can do the same thing and pick something from
Yes,
your questions and his answers. Okay.
yes, please. Thank you for the correction.
So are you going to follow
Okay,
on with that,
okay.
please? Hang on, Moses. So Vanessa, can you approach him, please?
Hello, Moses. Please, how was your day today?
My day was very fine, Vanessa. How was yours?
Mine was also good as well.
Okay,
So,
that is very great. I'm happy to know about that.
yes, yours as well. So, based on what you said, I wanted to suggest to you that in terms of funding, you can also look at applying for grants. Yes, if that's
Okay.
suitable for you. But I'm suggesting that you could also look at applying for grants. If not, yes.
Okay, okay. Thank you very much, Vanessa, for your advice and for your suggestion. But you see, the challenge I have here is that sometimes it's really not very easy also to find out maybe some of those grants opportunities. So if you have maybe knowledge or about any grant which is ongoing, maybe you could also share with me such details so that I can be able to access such information. I would be very grateful for that.
That sounds
Okay,
good.
so
That sounds good, Moses.
okay. So if I chance on any, I'll send it to you. But then you could just check online. You could check LinkedIn. There are a lot of competitions, there are a lot of grant applications as well. So it could just be you surfing the internet in one day and just checking applications for grants. I'm sure you would see some. But all the same, if I get in, I'll still forward it to the page so that you can get access to the application.
Okay, thank you very much, Vanessa. I will actually be waiting for any opportunity that you will actually share with me, because the fact that we are already the winners of the SDG Innovation Challenge 2021, we are already, actually, I can say we are already a family, and we need to see how best that we can work together. How best can you support me, and how best can I also support you to ensure that we actually move forward? Because I remember also a couple of months ago, I actually had a discussion with James, and we were trying to see how best actually that we can actually support one another. So the same way with your team, we all of us, we need to just see how best we can actually support one another. And one discussion which I had was with James was actually on how to help him also to develop a project proposal for easy organization. So I see that really this is really something very good, and if we really work together, all of us are going to achieve greatly, and we are going to take our organizations to the next level. So I am really very happy for that. Thank you.
Thank you very much too for the help you want to extend. So I'll reach out to you. Thank you.
It's okay. It's okay.
So would anybody else like to ask a question of each other? Who else has a question, or who else has a comment that you would like to share with each other? Remember, so much learning comes from conversations that you guys have with each other. So I'm really curious what comments or questions do you have for each other?
Okay, I have a comment.
Go ahead, this is your time.
Yeah, so yeah, Moses, yeah, thank you very much for that insightful walkthrough. Yeah, it's very good. I do like the impacts you are making there in Uganda. Just to make some comments regarding the funding, just as Vanessa said, you can apply for grants. Also, you can look forward to engaging in other competitions as well. Yes, because right now you are actually working on something. Some competitions like to see particular works on grounds. Yeah, so when you have those works on grounds, they easily see the potential of your business or startup, and they would love to fund it. Because recently there was this total startup program, yes, that they had a number of stages they went through. They wanted startups and not just ideas, people that are actually solving societal problems. So if you do apply, they take you through the process and they awarded the winners a huge sum of money. So these hackathons or competitions too are readily available. And just as you said, when I do see them, I will send them or into the group or into your PMs as well. And regarding the competition, you said yours is smokeless or less smoky as compared to the other people. I also think you can also look at packaging too as well, because people really love good packaging. And if things come to them in nice and wholesome way, they would love to purchase it over the others. Yeah. So that's that from me.
Wow, thank you very much, James, for that comments, for that advice. It was really very nice one. I am very pleased with your advice, and I really believe this is really something very great that we are actually doing here, and we are seeing how best we can go about with issues of looking for grants. And yeah, I appreciate the advice that you have given. Thank you very much for that.
I just want to add something to those pieces of exchange that you guys have had, motivated by Professor Deborah, to get you guys talking. This panel is for you. You guys have to use this place as a transfer knowledge space where you can share ideas among yourself, because along the line, you guys are all working on startup programs. So if you get any information that is suitable, like Vanessa and James have come across, share it among yourself, and let's see how everybody will have a regional difference in applying those particular pieces of advice among yourself. This way, the group will have a better way of transferring knowledge from one region to the other among all of you. That's what I would like to advise you to think about. If you're in Ghana and you see any competition about new startups that you think is universal enough for somebody in Uganda to apply, you let your colleagues know, send them the link. That way you are learning from each other more, okay?
Yes. Thank you very much, Professor Franks. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Frank. And that's exactly what we're here to do. We are here to create this environment, and that's what we're doing successfully. So I'm very pleased with what I've just witnessed so far. So I'm going to pass this over to you now, Daryl.
Yeah, good conversations, guys. Very important. This is all about peer-to-peer collaboration. This is where the learning comes, and this is where the opportunities arise. And as you rightly said, Moses, it's about finding opportunities between you and James and Vanessa, working in different spaces to help and support each other. I mean, that's something that has come out very strongly post-pandemic. Although, of course, in Africa, we're still facing the pandemic very greatly. this need to be networked and connected, and to understand that other people that are also starting their businesses are going through sometimes the similar challenges and incidents that you are. So this is why it's a good place to share the learning, and even beyond this, these sessions, to continue your own development by collaborating with each other. The one thing I'd like to pick up on, which is an important thing, is that you are running social enterprises, and therefore you are also rightly identifying your key target markets. And you have rightly identified, Moses, in that you are seeking to generate revenue, real revenue from real clients and real customers. And that is challenging, but ultimately at the end of the day, it is the most sustainable basis for any organization going forwards. Whilst we would support you chasing grants, we would not encourage you to be chasing grants at the expense of chasing revenue from real customers, because it's absolutely essential when you're looking at a bank to invest in you, that they can see that you actually have a customer book, a client book, you've got forward orders, you've got agreements in place, and that you're able to, you've got not only have you got demand, because then they can maybe help you identify how you can tap into fulfilling that demand. And so an order book is very important, and I'm sure that Deborah would also agree, as one of her core mantras is the importance of storytelling, and the importance of getting your message out there, and the importance of good public relations, and the importance of using social media to talk about your story, your customer stories, how you're helping clients, and so on. And I know that we've spoken a lot about that in the past, but if a funder cannot see what you are doing, and if a client doesn't know what you're doing, and a bank that you're seeking funding from doesn't understand what your business is and can't see you being prevalent in the marketplace, then that will be a challenge that needs to be overcome. Deborah, would you like to? I don't know if you'd like to introduce your team here.
Yes.
Yes.
So it's an absolute pleasure to see that my team. Some of them were here. Some of them were here. They seem to have gone. Vanessa certainly was part of the team.
She's still here.
But
Vanessa's here. I can see her on my screen. Yeah.
Ah, okay, yeah, sure. So it's a delight to be able to bring forward Vanessa et al, who'll be able to describe what we have been talking about and where they currently are. So both Vanessa and Charity are part of the same team. I know this week they have been engaged with examinations, but they have lots to talk to you about. Oh, Bill is also here. Good. Yeah. So Bill, Vanessa, and Charity. I know that they've been involved with exams, but as I've said, they have a lot to share. So Bill, Charity, Vanessa, please open up your mics and update the group with what you have been able to accomplish so far.
Okay, so we had our hello everyone. We'll start with the conversation. Okay. I'd like to update everyone on the progress so far after meeting with Professor Deborah. So our first meeting was I've forgotten the date actually, but we were made to understand some very key points. So then I wanted to share that, and then we'll go ahead with the progress that we are doing. So it was first to classify the bricks that we're going to be selling into first class bricks. So first, RecoPlus. RecoPlus is a social enterprise that seeks to redefine plastic waste both on land and water bodies into pavement bricks. So Ghana is a country that has a lot of plastic waste, about 1.1 million, not so much accurate statistics, but 1.1 million according to World Economic Forum in 2020. Yes, but we just recycle only a percentage, that's like 5%. So Recoplast was birthed for to actually solve the issue of plastic waste pollution in Ghana. Yes. So for our men, I'll say some things and then my group members will also add up to some of the things that we said. Yes. So for the mentorship session, yes, we were made to understand that we needed to find out from our customers. Yes, we needed to get a list of people that were willing to buy the bricks, people that were willing to buy the bricks from us and get to know what exactly they want. That's conducting a needs assessment. So our very own mentor, she gave us the assignment of having to find 300 customers to be able to get a huge number.
Cool. I'm looking forward to this.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Talk about how you responded to that.
We're amazed. We weren't expecting it, but yes, she gave us of having to find 300 customers. So
Brilliant.
she made us, so initially our mindset was to start producing the bricks and then finding the customers. But then she made us understand that we need to get the people and get to know what exactly they want so that to be able to conduct the needs assessment, that the bricks we get are the ones they actually want. So she gave us the task of having to find 300 customers from the three main regions of Ghana. And then
How many regions?
Yeah, 3 regions.
I thought we broke it down to 5.
5.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, you mentioned the Ashanti region, Kumasi, Accra, and then you also mentioned the Eastern region. But
yeah,
yes, as so far as we get customers, we'll check across board. Yes, not just limits to the region. And then we're also advised on on classifying the bricks, like I said, the first class, second class, and then the third class bricks. So that, and we weren't supposed to just name it just first class. We had to add a catchy name to get our customers to not put to not change, how should I say this? Yes. We needed to get names that would not draw their attention to first class, second class bricks as well. So those were that. And then we were also looking at using project management software to actually for communications, for every single thing that we're going to be doing, as well as creating a bank account for the for Recoplast. And then she also made us draw a budget so that we could know the cost of selling the bricks that we're going to produce on the market. However, the challenges that we're facing, okay, so from what was discussed actually, so then we also there are people on the markets that are actually producing these bricks, but then the extent thing in Ghana for the person that's doing the same thing is that the person is actually constructing buildings with the bricks or with the blocks that are made from the plastic waste. So we sort of going into a conversation with the person as to know some of the scenes or some of the mistakes that we can avoid so that we don't go in some of the mistakes that we can avoid. And then we're also looking at procurement of the machine as well, because Recoplast, you need like a solid machine to be able to get the oil, sorry, not the oil. Yes, you need a solid machine to be able to produce the bricks. And so we're looking at procuring a machine as well. And that has to do with funds. But then we are also working on that if it has to do with even importation, because there's not like a correct machine in Ghana that you can actually use for the bricks. So that was also one of the challenges. And then we're also looking at the wholesale price, the retail price that we're going to use for the bricks. Yes, and then there was one very important thing. She made us understand mission statement in the sense that when we felt like giving up, or whenever we feel like we can't continue the project, we have to have a statement that will actually push us. That when we see, we know that yes, Miracle Plus is bringing change to this world, is trying to eradicate Ghana, eradicate the plastic waste in the country into something formidable or something very strong. And then I also want to add that so because of the exams in AVC, she gave us a deadline of having to complete some of the things before 23rd June. So we're actually working on it. So any of though quiz or charity can add up to any of the things that I've not said. Yes, and then I'll give the progress as to where we've got it. Thank you.
Bill, is there anything else that you would like to add?
Hello, good evening, everyone. I hope we're all doing well. So, I think Vanessa has said everything, but there's one thing that I would want to add that I really took it very serious after the meeting. It was about how Prof. Debra said we should take the project and then, for example, she said we should look around us, the products that we have around us. Then she asked why we chose that product. And so some of us were saying that we chose the product because of the quality and how best the product is. And then she said, that's how we are supposed to make our product so that people would be interested in buying ours or choosing ours over the others. And so I think that's one thing that I really took from our meeting, and we are hoping to do like exactly what she said. I think that's all that I have to say now.
So, Bill, can I ask you a question here? How committed is your team towards this adventure of establishing a new product and creating a different impact on the market in the medium to long term? How committed are the team members?
Okay, for the commitment, I would say due to one or two reasons, it will be hard for me to say that the commitment is 100% because there are some hindrances and some challenges that we are facing. But in as much as we are facing the challenges, we are trying to make sure that regardless of what we are encountering or whatever we are going through in our educational life, we are combining our education or our schooling and this. So we are hoping that even though it's going to be difficult, we started it, so we will have to definitely complete. We are still working on our commitment, and we are hoping that it will improve. So we're still working on it.
So what is your exit plan? Exit strategy for when you discover your product and you're in the business moving forward? What are the plans ahead? What preparations have you made in terms of developing the product, getting the whole of Ghana, notice your product and become customers?
Okay, so our plans ahead is after we've been able to establish our product, we have to reach a lot of people, and so that would also be another aspect that when we are progressing, we will also put in consideration and also communicate with major people in the state that regard, people who are in the building industry, the top companies in the country, and then we would explain our ideas to them so that they would also help in the way forward, because we doing it alone would be difficult. So we'd have to consult some of these major stakeholders to help us in our work.
Do you believe in your product?
Yes, because of the impact that our products would be given. Yes, I believe in it.
And the team is on board?
Yes, please, the team is on board.
Okay, that's a good piece to hear. Thank you.
Okay, please, I want to add this to it. So initially we were looking at a project site or a project area that was in the Eastern region. But because of school activities, we want to even start right on campus as to where we are, because we are in school and then there are lots of us that use plastic waste and bottles and things like that. So we want to start from a place where people can, you see, before you go out into the market, these bricks might be a disruption in the markets because everyone is used to the normal way of using the sand to create and making the mixture, and then instead of the plastic waste. So when it starts on campus or where we are, and then we are able to get them, or even the management or the authority of the school to even like buy into our idea. That way is easier reaching out to the companies, because just the stamp of the school on the product alone is enough for them to believe what is it what actually it is that we are producing, because Ken University is known to be a university that is into science and technology. So always finding innovative ways to actually solve problems in society and things like that. So we are starting, want to move from where exactly we targeted first to campus and then see how far it goes but talking to management about it and things like that. But it's a plan. We are yet to, how should I say, implement it, but then we hope to do that so that if the stamp of the school is on it, we can actually take it to that. Yeah, thank you.
Nessa, let me ask you, because this is interesting. So are you then saying that you don't have a prototype? Is that what you're saying? Because it sounds like you're going backwards as opposed to going forwards.
Yes, we have a prototype. We have a prototype, all right. But then we have to be actually creating more of the bricks.
Yeah.
So we actually have a prototype, but then we have to be creating more of the bricks. And then since the school doesn't know about it, we wanted to just get them involved so that if they are going out there, just the stamp of the school on it could make it how should I say?
I mean, that is sensible, but at the same time, if you are confident about what you're doing, you still can go and find out people's names who will be interested. I sense some hesitation, and I want to understand what this hesitation is.
I'm hesitation in what area? Because okay, so is this not like the final, but we're just trying to look at the fact that we could start in the school wherever we were. We just wanted to, because the distance actually from the site to the place, because we're in school, we can't travel like those distances. So we wanted
right.
to
Okay. Well. Okay. So it's more to do with distance in terms of the size of the. It's more to do with the size of the country.
I don't get you.
You're saying you're more concerned about working in a location which is closer to you.
Yes, please.
Right, okay. So do you have a sample?
Yes.
Do I have
I'll
a
say that.
sample?
Do you have a sample of the bricks?
Okay. Right
Do
now,
you have a
yes.
photograph
Yes,
of
please.
a brick?
Yes, please.
Okay.
But it's not.
Vanessa?
Yes, please.
Do you
I'm
have a
trying to get.
sample of the, oh, are you going to share it with us?
Yeah, I'm checking for it.
Because if I remember correctly, Bill, you were talking about you have an interest in this area because you work, your degree is in this sort of area. And my understanding was that you all had some form of a sample of this brick. Do you have a photograph, a picture?
Yeah, I'm trying to get the photograph. Please, I'm coming.
Bill?
Yes.
While Vanessa is doing that,
Yeah.
do you remember the conversation that we were having around you guys pricing up these bricks?
Yes.
Right, okay. I'm not suggesting that you shouldn't speak with your university, but I am also suggesting you need to start speaking to other people. And I want to know, why are you only wanting to look at the university for the authority? Why can you not also start making a list of people that you can
No,
start to reach out to?
Yeah. Okay, so
please
for
let
the
me correct.
university.
Please let
Okay.
me. Okay.
Okay, Vanessa.
Is there a misunderstanding on my part?
No. So
Go ahead.
the university is a recent addition because.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
I'd like to bring something in just to share the fact that we're working with a young student who graduated from Africa Leadership University. And I was trying to show you earlier a video of him laying his bricks at a basketball court at ALU. But he started with firstly formulating the brick, and then he worked out the formula, the size, the shape, the cost, and then he got to a point of deciding with his university that they needed a path built from the road down to the basketball court. So that's what he did, and I saw him a few weeks ago. He's made amazing progress. So are there opportunities for you? I think Deborah mentioned about the prototype. Are there opportunities for you to demonstrate how your bricks can be used? Are you at that stage yet? Because I hear a lot of talking. I hear a lot of talking that is a little bit unsure of itself, but I'd like to see you commit to doing something with the bricks, however small that installation could be. And then you use that as an opportunity to showcase how your bricks can be used and the benefits and the purpose, in order to then use that to demonstrate to other customers how you could benefit their own situations. So is there anything stopping you from doing something like that? Or is this just a theoretical exercise which you're going to do at university, and then after university, I think it's important that we know, how, as Frank said, what your commitment is. I'm getting mixed vibes. If I was to be an investor in you right now, I'm getting mixed vibes about your commitment and your cohesion as a team. Would anybody like to come back on me, Bill or Vanessa?
So the reason for our the challenge that we are having is due to the machinery. That's the aspects. Yeah, so we're still dealing with some issues.
I don't understand what you mean, a machine, because I saw somebody who we mentor without a machine developing a prototype and doing something. So what is it about the machine? Why is a machine stopping you from doing something? What's really going on here?
Considering how I am in the production of the Rico class, we have a prototype, but initially what we're using to see that the machine was not the best. So we're looking on ways to improve so that we'll be able to make better ones. That's where the issue is.
Okay, thanks.
So, Bill, now that you're saying that, why don't you show us this brick that you think is not good enough and let us all decide whether or not it is good enough? You've made this decision without sharing this, because this is new to me. So I'm asking you all to share this. Part of entrepreneurship is sharing these questions that you have.
I thought Vanessa. I thought Vanessa was okay. So Vanessa, let me see. She's offline. So we get it and then we'll share it in a few seconds.
But I'm asking you, whilst she's looking at that, I'm asking you, but I'm also inviting you to think about the fact that no product or service is perfect in the beginning, and your job is to share with us, so to be able to show us images, etc., so that we can actually see something, so that then we can decide together what it is. So I'm asking you all to just show us something that you actually have.
Are we going to move on to others, because we could be here waiting for a picture?
Yes, please. Let's do that.
Okay, thanks, guys. Prof. Frank, do you want to introduce your guy? I think James is here.
Yes, James, you're on your own today, right? James?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. One was in by her network, so she dropped off, but she joins and drops off. The network is quite worrying her. Yeah.
Okay. You seize the opportunity to brief all of us so far since our last meeting. What have you guys done in terms of progress?
Okay, thank you very much. So our last meeting with this team Kabuso, and yeah, our idea is to help reduce the amount of carbon dioxide in the atmosphere by using bacteria, carbon absorbing bacteria, cyanobacteria, to absorb the carbon dioxide and convert it to a biomaterial which can be harvested and used in making bricks. So it's there to curb the issue of carbon dioxide emission that is produced during the normal brick and cement production. So yes, our meeting with our mentor, Professor Frank, was somewhere the ending of April. Yes, the evening. So we had a long talk. My group members, yeah, all of them were available. Yes, so in our talk, it was about cost and understanding how a unit will cost. Yes, and uptakers or intended customers or clients, then market research to actually get clients to sign uptaker agreements with us to buy our product. So that will help us know the rate have anytime we implement a brick or create one. So put a budget together for one of the bricks, that of cost and selling price, then at least 10 to 15 people who would like to take the brick from us. And prototype is what we are physically going to market, since it will get the investors and others. So in the steps, it was develop prototype, budget for cost and selling, develop potential buyers such as private builders, individual builders with an agreement, then fundraising and small launching to cascade the new product into the market. At this launch, you invite off-takers who will love to join. At the launching, use the social media to get a lot of people, a good pitch needed as well. As off-takers, if they can give us supply credits. Then the other step was scale up the fundraising activities where the developed product is established well within the community, approaching developers, fellow students, and others. And the next one was smart action line, prepare a timeline of action plan to be sent, that we will send to Professor Frank, and what we intend to do and all. Yes, so that was what transpired in our meeting with him. And moving on, we have done some progress in that regard. So regarding the social media to get a lot of people that's doing the launch, we have this on campus publicity group that we call Campus Hype Crew. Yes, we have we now know how some of their packages is like and how they will help with publicity wise with Twitter and all. They have been doing quite a good job this semester and the previous semester as well, making a number of the things that they do publicize trend in Ghana on Twitter. You can see the things that they help trend. They're actually doing a good job. So regarding the fundraising and small launching to cascade the new products into markets, those group of people are people that are readily available. All they need is you settle the funding with them, you give an initial deposit, then afterwards they zoom into having the work for you. And with the development of the prototype, yeah, I've gotten a guy, yeah, we are in talks. But the thing is, he's in the course of sending me some of his work to know how good he is. He says he deals with engineering prototypes, and I told him that yes, this is also an engineering prototype, and I want to give him a general overview of how it will be like, though I'm still contemplating on how to get to visualize the actual model. I'm trying to take some things into consideration. Yes, so yeah, I look forward to he doing a good job. And before that, I want to see the things he has actually done. He said he has worked on some engineering prototypes, and he's also a student as well. So yeah, and with the potential buyers. Yes. So on campus, there are some people that are still constructing. Their builders around that. I do see them around sometime, and they are constructing like buildings and all. So one time I engaged one, yes, and they kind of like the idea of having like such a new way of getting things done. But their issue is they want to actually know whether it will be able to withstand the harsh weather conditions and won't let a building collapse. Yes, so we are working on that to try and let them buy into the idea. And for them to buy into the idea, we should have at least made the like an actual one that maybe perhaps we can use it to build a very small thing that when after we have monitored how it has withstood the harsh conditions of rain, sunshine, harsh winds, and all, we will be able to know that indeed it is one product that people can actually buy and the builders will be willing to take it up. Yes, because the normal procedure takes quite some time and they all attested to the fact that it's not eco-friendly as it is. Yes, and with the action plan, we are almost through. Just that exam coming has made things slow, but we are almost through and we'll be forwarding it to Professor Frank sooner or later. So basically, that has been our development thus far, and we look forward to doing more because soon everything will be over and we'll have a lot more time to ourselves and venture into making a lot of progress even before the next semester resumes. Yeah, thank you very much. Yeah, that's that from Team Cabo. So I do not know if Grace is still on the call and would like to chip in something. Okay, she hasn't been able to hop back in. I do not know if Efia wants to chip in something. Yeah, Efia too is on the call. Let me see. Or maybe I've said it all and there's little to be added. So yeah, that's that from Team Cabo. So thank you very much.
Yes, thank you, James. Is Efia on the platform?
Yes.
Efia, are you there? Hello, Efia. Okay, failing Efia's ability to hear us or technical issue. Let's clarify one or two things in terms of the building developers. How many of them have you been able to speak to? Because they are able to give you some input at this prototype stage, as we agreed last time. Have you been able to talk to any of the developers?
The 3D developers?
Yes.
Yeah, I'm currently talking to one. Yeah, he says he has worked on a number of engineering things. So I've sent him the file to read on it and see how best he can picture it and work on something for us. Yeah.
What about there's so much development within Kumasi, KNUST and surrounding actual property developers on the ground? Have you spoken to any of them?
Yeah, with them, not yet. But I think, yeah, I do know one. Kumasi Hive is just close to our campus. Yeah, I'll try and contact them too as well. They are also into this. Maybe perhaps they can give a more professional prototype in the end.
Exactly. That is what you need at this stage so that you can have a lot of input into the prototype such that when you perfect it, then those same guys will be your number one uptakers of the product. And they are the guys who will be signing your first set of agreements for putting orders. So I think you need to home in more on that area where you get enough input from the actual physical developers for consummation by your 3D developers. I think that's very important.
Yes, please.
What about the pricing of the product? What have you done so far? I'm not clear on what you agreed on the price.
Please, the question again.
The unit pricing of the product.
Okay, so with that, we wanted to know we had to check the current costs of a brick, and
Yes.
it's kind of not it's kind of changing. You see, the last time, you see, Ghana, there has been major rise the cost of things so far. So the initial amount we did know has been changed, and there have still been fluctuations thereof. So far, we are still on it. The only things we have right now is online cost, which is, I feel, is not the best to actually go by, because online is not actually the current amount on grounds. Yes, so that has been the development in that regard. Yeah.
Yes, you see, the danger I spotted was if you don't explore all these initial teething problems now, then you develop a product which is out of behind the market. So this is why you need to dig more into what will constitute a true price of the product, so that can at least stand with the test of time as we move, because everywhere now prices have shot up, and you guys started this thing more than 3-4 months ago. So we need to update so that you're producing a product which will have realistic pricing structure, that you're not out competed. So I think it's yet another area you need to dig more into.
Yes, please.
I think those are the areas I would like to home in, but the list of property developers who will be interested in using the brick and their inputs is very, very important at this stage as we move forward. So please do some more work in that area. You have a materials department in the University of Science and Technology. Get some consultants to look at what you're trying to do as well in terms of the prototype development. Okay, when the guys are saying it cannot stand the weather, the materials department should be able to give us some more solid advice as to the way forward.
Yes, please.
At this stage, you have to do a lot of consultations to get the material and everything that is going in, create a realistic product. That's why we are now.
Yes, please.
It's only when you do that that you can be quoting prices for a single unit of your product. Okay?
Yes, please. Yes, please.
Okay, I leave the floor open for any more questions and interactions from the rest of the team.
Thanks, Frank. Thanks, James. Really great progress hearing. It's great to hear all the work that's going into this and your focus and commitment and dedication. I think this is an interesting market to get into, and I think it is just about taking, going out there beyond the university, going out there beyond us, and having those conversations with the industry and talking to those experts and getting their input, because at the end of the day, they're the ones who you want to be buying from you, and therefore you've got to understand exactly what they need and what price they're willing to pay, and you know, what solutions they're seeking, not just in terms of the product itself, but in terms of a relationship they want to have with an organization such as yours, and what they expect in terms of delivery and quantities. And, you know, you've really got to have those conversations with them. And the more conversations you have with them, the more confident you're going to get about what your proposition is. And you could, you know, find ways to, even in small ways, start to show them, you know, a demo of what can be achievable.
Sure.
Yeah, I think it's really important that you have those demos, and you start even a small demo. You know, it doesn't have to be a big one. Thank you for Vanessa for sending us your video. I have shared it with Deborah and Frank in our private WhatsApp group. But it is important that you tell those stories, you know, otherwise, and you get to do something that is practical, and you get the input from these stakeholders and customers. So the more you engage with them, the more you understand their needs, the more you understand the problems they currently face, what frustrates them with the market, with their suppliers, and what it is that you can do to differentiate yourselves from them, and to add significant value to their proposition as well. Thank you.
That's good. Thank you very much for that input, Daryl.
Pleasure. Deborah?
I would like to add to that. You've explained it absolutely with clarity, and it's really quite impressive to see what you're doing. You're doing exactly what I would expect at this stage. As Frank has pointed out, what you're doing, you're bringing people along with you for the conversation. And I do hope that Bill and Vanessa and the rest of your team can see that that's the purpose of this sort of, that's the purpose of this stage of your work. You need to just get into conversations with people. And I really appreciate that example. So thank you ever so much. And thank you, Daryl, for re-emphasizing the point. And thank you, Frank, for re-emphasizing the point.
Thank you.
Vanessa or Bill, what have you gained from this conversation? Vanessa or Bill, what have you gained from this conversation?
I think Vanessa's not with us, but Bill certainly is. Yeah, I can see Bill online.
Okay. So I think according to what Sir James gave, meaning he was able to contact the people that would be interested in his product. And I think that is one aspect that we also have to consider and then work in that regard. So when we put that in consideration, and the next time we meet, we hope that we'll be having something to say about it.
I mean, James, we always see you. Are there other members of your team that are as committed as you?
Please, Prof, can you come again? I
mean, certainly. Look, Deborah, myself, and Frank know what it's like at the exploration phase, the seeding phase, the startup phase. We're going through it on several projects ourselves at the moment. So we understand that it is a very messy process. It's backwards and forwards and backwards and sideways and 2 steps forwards and sometimes 3 steps back. That's the nature of the phase that you are in, all of you are in, and that is perfectly natural. It's whether you have the determination and resilience and the fortitude to move forwards. So and it's really about commitment at this stage, and to what extent the team are committed. Or James, so that was my question. To what extent, because we always hear you, what extent are other members of your team as committed and as passionate as you are?
Okay, so my team, we are all committed to the cause, but sometimes the issue of school, maybe if we want to have a meeting, the timing is very bad because we are quite a number. We are 6, and sometimes a particular number of people have, like, they are free in that particular time. Others too, maybe they'll be in class, or maybe they have some project meeting they do have to do. So usually that has been an issue, but to the commitments that everyone is in to help push this agenda, it is on point and it has been good. Yeah.
Okay, because if I look back at these sessions, for example, I'm wondering if we have always seen all members of your team with you, or whether it's always the same core that are committed. Because I think at this stage you have to really consider that in order to move forwards. Those that are committed, those that are partially committed, and yes, we always have reasons why we can't make meetings. That's totally understandable, because we have very busy commitments as well, and it's not always the case that we can always meet up. I'm talking about Frank, Deborah, and myself. So we understand that, and we respect that from each other, but we still move forwards together. So I'm just wondering if not having those meetings, whether that's holding you back, or whether you are still moving forwards together, even if you are not all together in the meetings.
Okay, get you. Yeah, we are all moving forward together. In case of any developments, I put it in the group, and we are trying to apply to other things as well to get like funding. So yeah, some section do. We are trying to segment the group so that there will be people working on funding issues, pitching it at particular platforms like hackathons and competitions, and others doing this and that, so that everything, we are all geared towards the main goal, and we are giving commitments to the project, but using different routes or paths. Yeah.
Okay. So that's good to hear if you've all got your own roles and responsibilities and you find a way to come back, because as you develop, governance of your business idea will become very important. You know, governance becomes important. Although you may start out as friends and you may remain friends, you should also bear in mind that you are responsible as a board of managers or a board of founders. I don't know if you've registered the business yet, so I won't call you a board of directors, but you are a board of founders. And therefore, I'm sure that Frank will impress upon you as well the real importance at this stage of mapping everything, writing everything down, agreeing it in minutes, notes, so that everyone is clear what has been agreed and the way forward. Because what happens is that people do not always, people confuse the fact that they are friends and they're also developing a business idea. Yes, there are two different hats that you wear, and it's important that you make that distinction between the friendship and the business. Do you understand me?
That's very important.
Very important. We know how important that is. We cannot emphasize this enough to you, Bill, to Afia, to people that are not here, because I know it's being recorded. Listen to this bit. You are friends, but you are separately running a business. You have to treat the two separately. You are responsible to a business. Yes, you make decisions, all for one and one for all. But you also need to maintain that friendship separately.
May I ask my colleagues a question?
Okay.
Because this might help us to help all of us. Have you, Frank or Daryl, ever been in a situation where you've had to have a tough conversation with a colleague who doesn't seem to be quite involved, but doesn't know how to say it?
We've just had one today.
It's not about you.
Very funny.
We had a very hot one at 8 a.m.
We did.
This morning.
We did. Yeah,
but sometimes it's good for you, the participants, to be yourself. Sometimes it's good to kill some of these lions on the way earlier so that you can regroup and take a good position moving forward. Just like what Dara has asked James. James seems to be always, expressing the leadership of the group, but the ability to carry the followers is also a very important aspect when you are into this entrepreneurial stage of your business development. But the short answer to that question is where you see dissenting views and discouragement from the people, is better to kill that now than just assume it off like we did today. Mm-hmm. I think I will leave that to rather fine tune what experience we had today with one of our colleagues, very important partners we are trying to move along into an international business with. We had to find a common ground today and to know whether we are, continuing along the same wavelength or we are dropping from each other and maintain the friendship.
Yeah.
So yes, you see dissent, you see obstacles, but that should not break the relationship moving forward, I would say.
You can, there was something which Stephen Covey says in 7 Habits of Highly Effective People.
Yes.
Which is, always try and find mutual respect and mutual benefit out of a situation. But if you can't find a way forwards, if you can't find a win-win situation, then you can go for win-win and no deal. And that means you can agree to disagree with each other agreeably. You do not need to fall out. It's just the way it is. And we made that point very clear to a dear friend of ours today that works in a prospective partner organization. The last thing we want to do is fall out with that person. And if we can't therefore do the deal with his organization, we'd rather protect the relationship with him. And it was important that he heard that. So this can sometimes happen in organizations as well, in teams. It's difficult. We know what it's like, to want to say something to somebody. And so sometimes it's good to get it out and to say it and to move on and to say, now we've said that, let's move on, because you're working on behalf of the vision of the organization. And believe me that any investor or any funder will find a hole through it. It's not just the fact that you may have an interesting product. You've got to have a team that is coherent, consistent, on message, committed. So when you pitch your proposition to a banker or a customer or whoever else, then they have to believe that you are a team that they can rely on, that they are a team that they can invest in, investing their time and maybe also their money. They need to know that they are going to get a return on their investment, and therefore they need to believe in the team. So that's why we always emphasize these points. We do see, James, you a lot. It'd be great if we saw others. You take a very strong entrepreneurial leadership role within your organization. I remember even seeing that back in the early stages several months ago before we had these mentoring sessions. So, all power to you. But it's about, is your team, bringing your team with you or making those tough decisions? Sometimes saying to a team member, is this right for you? Are you on board with what we're trying to achieve here? Because in these early stages, you really have to iron that out. In 2002, I'm very proud that I set up a private marketing college in London. And I went through three friends before I found the person that I set up the school with. Okay, so you go through these processes, and you know, I think also from this idea of this very old model produced by Tuckman, which is the formation of teams, you know, where you come together as a team, you get to know each other, and then you start to perform. But along the way, some people may fall out of that team. It may not be for them, which is fine. It's perfectly fine if they do not want to continue on the journey. You just have to make sure that your vision is clear. As I say, I set up London School of Marketing in 2002. It took me, I went through 3 potential partners before I found the right partner. We set it up, and then in 2005, I exited London School of Marketing with a sizable share on my initial investment. So, thank you.
And just to add one more point about the kind of people you're going to be meeting now in your burgeoning entrepreneurship journey. I quote Warren Buffett for you. Look for 3 things in a person: intelligence, energy, and integrity. If they don't have the last one, don't even bother in the first 2. So as you're numbing and storming and, you know, getting your teams together, don't show desperation to involve everybody. You're going to be very selective.
Yeah.
Along those lines of adjectival clauses, what are you looking for in a business partner? So that at the end of the day, you do not look back and regret. Just like Prof. Darrell has, you know, stated, you go so many stages to get the right formation of people you want to work with. At the end of the day, tread carefully. That would be my final point.
Brilliant. Thank you.
To all of you, I mean, to the whole team of mentees. Be very, very careful who you work with, and make sure you get commitment from everybody so that you don't carry too much dead wood as burden moving forward.
Absolutely. Deborah, do you want to conclude?
Yeah, I'm happy. I think that we've landed in a very sensible place. We've taken these big ideas and we've landed them in a very practical space. And I certainly am pleased with developments, and I'm equally pleased when we have these so-called difficult conversations, because it demonstrates that everyone here is ready to go to the next stage, and whatever that might be. So if people want to step off, it's fine. Those of you that want to continue, that's also fine. So I'm really quite I'm happy about this conversation that we're having. Thank you very much to everyone here, to my esteemed colleagues, and to the entrepreneurs here. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Debs.
Very much. Shall we wrap things up now? I think we've done a really great session tonight, listening to every person, and I think there's a lot we can all learn from each other. The important thing to realize is that you are all at the very early stages of the development of what could be a very exciting journey and future for all of you. Hopefully along the way, you will definitely transform your lives, and you have the potential to transform the livelihoods of many others. You came into this journey last year when you applied for the Melton Foundation SDG Challenge, and look where you are now and how far you've come. It's always good to reflect on what you've achieved, where you've come from, and the steps that you have taken along the way, being very clear about where you want to go going forwards. Do remember that, you know, when you talk about, you're not alone. My God, you've got Melton's Foundation that's backed you. You've got Shibuka that's backing you. You've got 3 professors right now that are backing you. You've had other organizations that have backed you in the innovation, in incubation part of the program. So, you know, you can very much say to people, you can build your story on the fact that you started with an idea, yet you've now, you know, you've got a lot of support. But at the end of the day, it's down to you. It's down to you to take your vision forwards. You have to stand on your feet and believe and fight for what you believe in terms of your vision and turning your dream into a very sustainable reality. I'd like to finish there tonight, if it's okay.
Yeah.
Thanks to
Thank
everybody thanks to everyone that's been with us. Thanks, James and Afia, who's still here. This is being recorded, so thank you to everyone that appeared earlier in terms of giving their input, including Moses and Vanessa as well from their teams. We will be in touch with the next mentoring sessions, individual mentoring sessions to take place in June, early June. And we are talking to Lars Jitzel tomorrow, me and Deborah, to update him on the progress that is being made on this mentoring program. This has been recorded and will be uploaded to the Shibuka YouTube channel and to the SDG Innovation channel. Do remember to subscribe to both of those channels going forwards. Thank you very much. We look forward to seeing you shortly. And good night. And if I can just say to my colleagues, Prof. Frank and Deborah, can we just stay behind for a few minutes afterwards? Thank you very much, guys. Take care.
Thank you, guys.
Thanks, James. Thanks, Sophia. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.